My hands were shaking as I watched her unravel the braids. Each one fell to the floor like a serpent, coiling at her feet. And with each braid that dropped, I heard it. A name. A cry. Kola. That was my name. Coming from her hair. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the beginning. Back to when Madame Shade first came to our town. And we thought she was a blessing. In our land, we have a saying. The head carries more than hair. It carries faith. My grandmother used to tell me this when I was young. Running my fingers through her silver locks, she would smile and say, Kola, your hair is not just beauty. It is your destiny, your glory, your connection to those who came before. That is why we do not let just anyone touch it. I didn't understand then. I wish I had listened. Before we continue, if you're new here, welcome to our channel, where we bring you authentic African folk tales with powerful lessons. Hit the subscribe button and turn up notifications so you never miss a story. Trust me, you will want to hear to the end. It was a Tuesday morning when I first saw the salon. I was walking through the market, my mind heavy with worry. My business, a small trading company I had built from nothing, was struggling. 3 contracts had fallen through that month. People who used to respect me now barely nodded when I passed. I couldn't understand it. I was 28 years old, and I felt like I was disappearing. That's when I saw the sign, Madame Shade's Beauty Palace, where your true glory shines. The building was modest, tucked between the fabric seller and the electronics shop, but something about it threw me. The door was painted a deep purple that seemed to shift in the sunlight. And there she was, standing in the doorway, Madame Shade. She was unlike anyone I had ever seen. Her hair was braided in intricate patterns that seemed to move even when she stood still. Cornrows that became box braids, that became twists, that became something else entirely. Her skin was smooth, edgeless. Her eyes were calm. Almost too calm, like still water over something deep. Kola, she called. I froze. How do you know my name? She smiled. I know many things. I can see your struggle. Your hair has lost its shine. When the head is troubled, the hair knows. Come inside. I should have walked away, but desperation makes fools of wise men. I followed her inside. The salon was cool and dark, smelling of shea butter and something else. Something sweet and metallic. There were 3 chairs, all empty. The walls were covered in mirrors. And in each reflection, I looked smaller than I felt. Sit, she said, gesturing to the center chair. I looked at her, and then I sat. She moved behind me, her fingers hovering over my head. She didn't touch me yet. Just let her hands flow there, and I felt words radiating from her palms. You have good hair, she murmured. Strong roots, but the glory has faded. Someone has been speaking ill of you, haven't they? Jealous voices. They've been pulling at your success. How did you? I told you. I see things. Her fingers finally touched my scalp, and I felt a shiver run through me. I can help you. I can restore what's been stolen. But you must trust me completely. No questions. Can you do that? I hesitated. My grandmother's words echoed. Do not let anyone touch it. But Madame Shade's fingers felt like magic. Already. I felt lighter. Yes, I replied. I trust you. Good boy, she said, and began to work. She worked for 2 hours. Her fingers moved faster than she had been possible, braiding and unbraiding, twisting and pulling. She hummed as she worked, a melody that had no words but somehow filled my chest. At one point, I thought I felt her taking something from me, like a thread being pulled from my scalp, so subtle. I almost missed it. But when I tried to turn, she pressed my head forward. Stay still. We are at a delicate point. When we finished, I looked in the mirror and gasped. I looked like myself. but better. My skin glowed, my eyes were sharper. Even my clothes seemed to fit better, though I hadn't changed them. And my hair, simple, clean, shaped perfectly. How much do I owe you? I asked. She waved her hand. For you, Kola. Consider it a gift. Come back if you need me. I left that salon walking on the air. The change was drastic. That very afternoon, I received a phone call. The contract I'd lost, they wanted me back, double the price. The next day, a woman I've been admiring for months approached me in the market. Kola, I've been meaning to ask, would you like to have dinner? By the end of the week, I had secured 3 new clients and been invited to speak at a business conference. People looked at me differently, respected me, sought my opinion. I felt untouchable. And I wasn't the only one. All over town, people were visiting Madame Shadi. Ada at the same dress, went in struggling to find customers, came out with orders flooding her shop. Chidi, who had been unemployed for a year, walked in and left with a job offer that by evening. Even Chief Okonkwo's daughter, who had been trying to conceive for 3 years, went to Madame Shadi and was pregnant within a month. We all sang her praises. Have you been to Madame Shadi's salon? You must go to Madame Shadi. Madame Shadi changed our life. Only one person refused to go. Iya Morenike, the eldest in our town. She lived at the edge of the market, sold herbs and roots, and knew the old ways. When people urged her to visit the salon, she would shake her head slowly. Some hands polish, she would say. Others collect. You cannot see the difference until the basket is full. We laughed at her. Old woman stuck in old ways. What did she know about progress? If you're enjoying the story, drop a like and share it with someone who loves powerful African tales. And stay tuned. Things are about to take a dark turn. 3 months later, Adaeze came to my shop, and I almost didn't recognize her. The vibrant woman who had been glowing with success looked diminished. Her skin was ashy. Her eyes were dull. Her hair, which had been magnificent, lifeless. Kola, she said, in a cracked voice. Something is wrong. What happened? I don't know. Everything was perfect. Business was booming. And then, it just stopped. Customers cancelled. My suppliers dropped me. It's like she clutched my arm. It's like someone reached into my life and turned off a light. And my hair, I can't explain it, but my hair won't grow. It's like it's dead. I tried to comfort her, but a cold feeling settled in my stomach. That night, I had the first dream. I was in a dark room and I heard voices. Dozens of voices, all whispering at once. They were crying, begging, calling out names. And when I looked down, I saw hair, braids, locks and twists, all written on the ground like living things. Then I saw my own face in the mirror, but my hair wasn't on my head anymore. It was in someone else's hand. I woke up gasping. Over the next 2 weeks, the patterns repeated. Chidi lost his job, no explanation, just a termination later. Chief Okonkwo's daughter miscarried. The doctors couldn't explain why. One by one, everyone who had visited Madame Shade's salon began to collapse. And I started to notice something else. As we fell, she rose. Madame Shade's skin grew more luminous. Her salon expanded. She walked through the market like royalty, and people parted before her with a mixture of awe and fear. Her hair grew longer, more elaborate, cascading down her back in impossible patterns. And my life, it was crumbling. I lost 2 clients, then 3, then 5. The woman who had been interested in me stopped returning my calls. People avoided my eyes in the market. I felt hollow, like something essential has been scooped out of me. But the worst part, my hair wouldn't grow. It stayed exactly the same length as the day I'd left her salon. And when I touched it, I felt empty, like touching a shell of something that used to be alive. I went back to the salon on Friday evening. Madame Shade was with a client, a young man I recognized from the university. He sat in the chair with his eyes closed, trusting as her fingers worked through her hair. I watched her hands, really watched them. A faint shimmer like golden thread moving from his head to her fingertips. She looked up and saw me. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Caller, have you come for another section?" "I've come for answers," I said. "What did you do to us?" in a shaky voice. The young man opened his eyes, confused. "Do?" She laughed softly. "I gave you what you wanted. Success, glory, recognition, everything you asked for. And then you took it away?" "I took nothing that wasn't offered," she said. Her voice sharp now. The man on the chair looked between us, uneasy. "You came to me desperate and trusted me with your head. What leaves the head, caller, does not always return. I told you, no questions. You agreed. You're stealing from us, our success, our lives. I'm collecting what I'm owed." She stepped towards me, and I backed away. "Do you think glory is free? Do you think destiny is yours to keep forever? No. Some of us know how to harvest it, and when it's ripe, we take it." The young man stood up suddenly, his section unfinished, and hurried out. Madame Shade didn't even glance at him. "Please," I said, and I hated how broken I sounded. "Just give it back. Whatever you took from me, give it back." Her expression softened, but there was no kindness in it, only pity. "It's already woven in, child. Part of me now, part of this." She ran her fingers through her magnificent hair. "Every braid comes with a story. Every twist holds a name. I wear the glory of this entire town, and I've never been more beautiful." I stumbled out of that salon, her laughter following me into the street. That night, I went to Iya Morenik's place, her house smelling of burning sage and old paper. She sat in her chair grinding herbs and didn't look up when I entered. "The boy who laughed at wisdom has come seeking it," she said. "Iya, please, I need help." "Help?" She finally looked at me, and her eyes were old. "You need more than help, child. You need salvation. Sit." I sat. She placed down her mortar and leaned forward. "Let me tell you about the old law, the one we've forgotten in our rush toward easy glory. Your hair is not decoration, caller. It is a vessel. In every strand lives your destiny, your ancestral blessing, your connection to who you were meant to become. That is why in the old ways, we were careful who touched our heads. That is why mothers braided their children's hair with prayers. That is why we never let strangers near our crowns, which is our hair." "Madame Shade is a collector," Iya Morenike interrupted. "She is not the first, and she won't be the last. There have always been those who learn the dark art of harvesting glory. They offer their gifts freely, but the gift is a trap. They touch your head with permission, create a connection, and slowly, they transfer your destiny into themselves, into their own hair." My blood ran cold. So all of us who went to her are trapped. She interrupted. Your glory sits in her braids now. Every success you should have had, she is leaving. Every opportunity that was meant for you, she is taking. And the more people she collects from, the heavier her burden becomes. Burden? Morenike smiled. You think carrying the stolen destinies of dozens of people is easy? Glory is not meant to be hoarded, child. It's meant to flow, to grow, to serve its rightful owner. When you steal it and hold it, it becomes to poison you. She is strong now, yes, but soon the weight will become too much. How soon? That depends on how greedy she is. But I've seen the signs. The land itself is rejecting her. Crops are failing on the farms. Children are falling ill for no reason. The natural order demands balance, and she has created imbalance. Soon she will break. The question is whether she takes the town with her. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about what Morenike had said. The braids, the stolen glory, the weight. Around midnight, I made a decision. I would go back to the salon. I would watch. I would find proof. The streets were empty as I made my way through the market. The moon was hidden behind clouds, and the only light came from a single lamp in Madame Sade's salon's window. I crept close, staying behind her vision, and peered through the glass. She was alone. She sat in the center chair facing the mirror, and as I watched, she began to unbraid her hair. Slowly, methodically, she took down each braid, and as each one unraveled, I saw something that made my blood turn to ice. Light poured from her hair, golden, silver, red, different colors for different strands. And with the lights came voices I recognized. Chidi, Adeze, Chief's daughter, Kola, my name, my voice, coming from her hair, distant and hollow, like I was calling from the bottom of a well. She lifted the unraveled hair to her face and breathed deeply, and the golden light flowed into her mouth, her nose, her eyes. She was feeding on it, on us. But then I saw something else. Her hands were shaking. She was sweating. And as more braids came down, she began to buckle under some invisible weight. The voices grew more agitated and louder. They weren't just whispering anymore. They were screaming, "Give it back! It's mine! You're killing me! Please!" The cacophone was overwhelming. She pressed her hands to her ears, but the voices came from the inside of her now. She tried to rebraid her hair, but her fingers fumbled. A braid fell to the floor and it writhed like a living thing, its light flickering like a dying candle. "Quiet! Be quiet! You're mine now," she said. "You belong to me." But the voices didn't go quiet. Instead, they grew louder. And as I saw her face in the mirror, the beautiful ageless face I had admired was cracking. Literally cracking, like a mass of clay. I stumbled backward, my foot catching on a stone, and the sound echoed in the silent streets. Her head snapped towards the window. Our eyes met, and I ran. By morning, the entire town knew something was wrong. The market wouldn't open. The sky had turned to sickly yellow. Children woke with nightmares, all reporting the same dream. Braids choking them, voices calling from the dark. A woman with too many faces. Iya Morenike stood in the market square, surrounded by the elders. I was there too, along with everyone else who had visited the salon. We looked like ghosts. It's time, Iya said. The balance is broken. The land is crying out. We must act now, or she will consume herself and take us with her. What do we do? Adeze asked. We confront her together and we offer her a choice. What choice? I asked. Iha's expression was sad. Redemption or destruction. She can release what she's stolen and return to herself, empty but alive. Empty but alive. Or she can cling to her hoard and be destroyed by the weight of it. We walked to the salon as a group, 30 of us, or maybe more. All her victims, all the people she had taken something from. The door was ajar. Inside, Madame Sade knelt on the floor, surrounded by unraveled braids. They covered the ground like snakes, each one pulsing with faint light, each one whispering a different name. Her magnificent hair was half undone, and what remained looked brittle and grey. She looked up as we entered, and I barely recognized her. The ageless beauty was gone. In its place was a woman who looked ancient and exhausted. I can't stop it, she whispered. It's too heavy. I thought I could carry it all, but there is too much, too many of you. Your glory, your pain, your dreams, it's all screaming inside me. I can't. I can't. Iya Morenike stepped forward. Then let it go, child. I can't. Without it, I'm nothing. I was nothing before this. Don't you understand? I was ordinary, forgotten. And then I learned the art. And for the first time in my life, I was seen. I was beautiful. I was powerful. And if I give it back, I'll go back to being human. Iya said gently. You'll go back to being human. And yes, you'll be ordinary. But you'll be free. And you'll be alive. Madame Sade looked around and looked at all of us. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to be special. We all want that, I said, surprising myself. But not like this. Never like this. She closed her eyes and nodded. The ritual took place in the market square at sunset. The elders brought their sharpest blade, blessed with oils and prayers. Madame Sade knelt in the center of a circle. We are drawn with salt and ash. Her remaining braids hung around her like chains. Are you ready? Iya asked. Madame Sade's voice was barely audible. Do it. The blade cut through the first braid, and light exploded from it, golden and bright. It shot upward and then curved, flowing towards someone in the crowd. Chidi gasped as the light touched him, and color returned to his face. He stood straighter and breathed deeper. The second braid fell, then the third, fourth, and so on. With each cut, someone was restored. We felt it happening. The hollow spaces we felt filled. The dimmed light we gained. It ignited. Our hair, which had been dead and still, began to grow again, warm and alive against our scalp. But with each release, Madame Sade diminished. She aged before our eyes. Her skin lost its glow, became lined and withered. Her body shrank, bent. Her supernatural beauty that had made her untouchable melted away, revealing the ordinary woman beneath. Then the final braid fell. The light that emerged from it was mine. I felt it before I saw it. A golden thread that reached across the cycle and wrapped around me like a warm embrace. My chest filled with something I'd lost, something I'd forgotten. Purpose, hope, my own glory returned. Madame Sade collapsed as we rushed forward to catch her. She was light as a child, fragile as a paper, but was alive. And she was free. We carried her to Iya Morenike's hut, where she would recover. The elders decreed that she would never be allowed to participate her art again, never be allowed to touch another's head without supervision. But they also decreed mercy. She will live among us, Iya said. Ordinary, yes. Diminished, yes. But alive. And perhaps, in her ordinariness, she will find the peace she was seeking all along. The town slowly returned to normal. Businesses stabilized. Relationships mended. Children laughed again. The sky became brighter. But we were all changed. We looked at each other differently now. We touched our own hair with new reference. We remembered what our grandmothers had told us, what we'd forgotten in a hush toward easy glory. Some things are not meant to be given away. Some power is not meant to be taken. And glory, true glory, cannot be stolen. It must be earned, grown, and tended like a garden. I saw Madame Sade one more time. She was sweeping the market in the early morning, her hair short and simple, her clothes plain. She looked as I passed, but no words left her mouth. She was paying for her sins and finding the peace she wanted. The end.